TNA Against All Odds was last night in the Impact Zone. In my mind, it was not a very good pay-per-view. Today, I will give my review and thoughts on the pay-per-view. But before I start, make sure you click that subscribe button up there, like the video, and leave a comment down there. I also want to remind the folks at home watching this on their computers that they can click on the annotations over here and direct yourself to the point in the video that you want to hear more, basically. So, now that I've reminded you about the new PTE feature over here, let's get started with the Against All Odds pay-per-view recap. First match on the card was Jesse Sorensen versus Zema Ion. It was a really quick match, but there was a reason for it. Zema Ion messed up a moonsault and ended up hitting Sorensen with knees in the face and stuff, and Sorensen ended up getting a major injury during the match, and the referees threw up the X, and, you know, Ion wins by default, and it was a really quick match. But the latest on Jesse Sorensen's injury, I have it right here. Jesse Sorensen actually suffered a broken C1 vertebrae at TNA's Against All Odds pay-per-view. This is the top vertebrae in the spine that connects the spine to the skull. Sorensen has lost feelings in his extremities last night and is still hospitalized, but able to move his arms and has feelings in them. Early this afternoon, Sorensen was able to feel a tingling sensation in his legs, but could not feel them yet, or could not move them yet, my bad. So he's paralyzed a little bit. I mean, that's what I kind of expect. I wouldn't expect Sorensen coming back for at least, you know, maybe 5-6 months. If that keeps, you know, acting up. But anyway, you know, I'll leave the latest on Jesse Sorensen and his condition as we, you know, I guess, get more information and stuff on what happened. But down in the description is probably where I'll do that stuff. The TNA TV Championship was on the line. Robbie E. issued an open challenge to anyone in the locker room, and Shannon Moore answered. Really, Shannon Moore? Could you do anything better? Come on. I'd rather see Eric Young go back in there. Come on. It was an okay match, but we all expected the end. Rob Terry ended up getting involved at the end, and Robbie E ends up hitting his RKO-like finisher on Shannon Moore to get the victory winner, and still TNA TV champion Robbie E. Not surprised. I wasn't really interested. I'd rather see that on Impact. Really. The TNA Knockouts Championship was also on the line. Gail Kim, the champion, took on Tara, and another match I'd rather see on Impact. Usual knockouts match, going back and forth, and, you know, usual. And the end came when Tara went for her Widow's Peak, but Gail ended up reversing it for the Eat Defeat, and that was for the 3 count. And your winner, and still TNA Knockouts champion, Gail Kim. Not expecting Tara to even win the match, so I kind of expected Gail to win that match. Fourth match of the night, TNA Tag Team Championships were on the line. Crimson and Matt Morgan, the champions, took on Samoa Joe and Brutus Magnus. Crimson and Morgan played the more unstoppable team, the more superhuman type of team. Like, it's kind of like if like Cena and The Rock ever really teamed up, that would really be the superhuman team. They would never really lose. A lot of double team moves happened with Magnus and Joe. They really had that chemistry, as I said in the predictions, which I think if you click over here somewhere, you should be able to see them still. They had a lot of chemistry in the ring, if I didn't say that already. And they work really well together, and I'm glad to see that. And the end came when Crimson went to hit a spear on Joe, but he countered, and then Crimson ended up spearing Matt Morgan in the process. And Joe and Magnus hit their double team finisher on Matt Morgan for the win, and their new TNA Tag Team Champions, Samoa Joe and Magnus, which I would not have expected like 3 months ago. I would not have expected this because Joe was that guy. He was the big guy, and no one, you know, could beat him. And then Magnus was just floating. He wasn't even around, if you know what I'm saying. But no, I think it's good. I think it's a real cool rejuvenation of the, you know, the tag team division since the Motor City Machine Guns are out. Team 3D broke up, and, you know, LAX is no more because of Homicide, and Mexican Americas, I don't know where the hell they are. But anyway, no, I think it's cool. It's a real, you know, kick to the tag team division. We'll see where it goes from there. The TNA X Division Championship was also on the line. AA Austin Aries, the champion, took on Alex Shelley, and it was a very good match. And I'm really starting to expect it out of the X Division now. It really is, because these guys have all the talent in the world. Like, really, I would rather watch a 20-minute X Division match than like a 5-minute John Cena match. Like, no offense to any, Cena fans or anything out there, but I would rather see that rather than, watching Cena kind of beat the shit out of somebody for 5 minutes. I would rather watch, good talent, you know what I'm saying? But the end came when Austin Aries hit a brainbuster and locked in the last chancery on Alex Shelley for the win. And hopefully, you real Austin Aries fans, you know what the last chancery is. It's basically an arm triangle choke. It's a submission move, basically, to sum it up for anybody who really cares. But he hit it on Alex Shelley for the win, and Alex Shelley tapped out, your winner, and still X Division champion, Austin Aries. And unfortunately, there was no sight of Chris Sabin. There was no talking about Chris Sabin, and I don't know how they're going to bring Chris Sabin back. If they are going to bring him back, hopefully they ended up doing... Shelley ends up going into the tag team division back with them, and then, they go into a really cool program with Joe and Magnus. That's what I'm hoping for, but, we probably won't see from Sabin until about maybe March or April, so that's all I have to say about that match. The sixth match, my bad, was Kazarian versus AJ Styles, and the Daniels Dirt on Kazarian storyline continued in this match. Kazarian was then forced to wear a Daniels t-shirt, but later on in the match, AJ ended up ripping it off, so it didn't really matter anyway. The two guys had a very good match. It was solid, and I expected it because these two guys have a lot of talent. They have a lot of personality, and I love watching both these guys at least perform. And only to see them, face each other was, even better. Even though it was kind of a short match, it was about 7-8 minutes. It wasn't that long, but it was good. I think it was good. Definitely deserved to be a pay-per-view. Definitely. And the end came when AJ Styles hit a moonsault on Daniels outside the ring. AJ went back in the ring only to eat a fade to black from Kaz for the 3 count, and your winner is Kazarian. I didn't expect that ending, but if you think about it, you kind of should, because they are not gonna stop this storyline for a while. I expect. Well, if you think about it, it's not gonna end for a while. Like, trust me. But it's cool seeing them win, and hopefully we see some more stuff coming out of Kazarian and Daniels in the future, and hopefully TNA starts using AJ Styles to his actual, his actual point of talent, I guess you could say, or his full caliber, I guess we could say. Seventh match of the night was Gunner versus Garrett Bischoff. Eric Bischoff in Gunner's corner, and Hulk Hogan in Garrett Bischoff's corner. And another match, surprisingly, I'd rather see on Impact. It was a very boring match. Kind of just left me going like this the entire time. And you know it's not a very good match when I'm going like this. Garrett using his usual arm drags and drop kicks on Gunner to get an early advantage, but it didn't really work out too well, because Gunner ended up dominating the rest of the match. And there was actually a point in the match toward the end where Hogan was ready to throw in the towel, but the end came when Garrett told him not to throw in the towel. Garrett turns around and gets laid out by Gunner with the DDT for the 1, 2, 3. No pun intended there, no rhyme, basically what I'm saying. And gets the win 1, 2, 3, and your winner, Gunner, which is surprising because I expected, Gunner with, Garrett Bischoff with, Hogan in his corner, the immortal Hulk Hogan. I couldn't expect him, losing that match. But your winner is Gunner, and that was it for that match. I can't really say anything else because I wasn't that surprised by it. And then your last match of the night was the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Bobby Roode, the champion, took on Bully Ray, James Storm, and Jeff Hardy. The match was really predictable, but it was good if you think about it like that. There was a point in the match where Storm and Roode did a suplex on Bully Ray, and then they ended up, Storm and Roode, and they did a really cool the beer money taunt. It was cool, you know, with the beer and then money, and I thought it was a really fun moment. But then Roode ended up decking Storm, and it all screwed up. But there was the Tower of Doom, and I thought that was cool. You know, it's really it's shut up. It's no, that's my cat there. No, it's really predictable. Well, they're not really predictable, but it's really cool to see. Bully Ray, he got knocked out early in the match, and I expected him, you know, at least to make it toward the end. But you know, whenever Bully Ray would get up, you know, James Storm would end up jumping over the top rope or something and knock Bully Ray out, and it was predictable because we all expected, you know, Jeff Hardy to get toward the end and, you know, Hardy to get screwed at the end, which pretty much happened. The referee ends up getting knocked out, just like I predicted, and Sting got in the ring, being the special guest enforcer, and he had a little confrontation with Bobby Roode, who was ready to hit Hardy with the belt. Sting grabbed the belt as before Roode ended up hitting Hardy with it. It argues with Roode until Roode spits in the Icon's face, or he just spits on Sting. I don't know really where he did it, but he then told Sting to hit him. Basically, oh, right here, hit me right here. And the end came when Sting went to actually hit Bobby Roode with the title. Roode ducked, and Sting ended up hitting Hardy with the belt. Roode covered Hardy while Sting was forced to count the pin, and as you know, as he was counting, he's yelling, "Jeff, kick out! Jeff, are you up, Jeff?" And then counts the 1, 2, 3 as Bobby Roode gets the very predictable win. And your winner, and still TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Roode. And Sting, after the match, Sting checked on Hardy in the ring as Roode celebrated on the stage to end the pay-per-view. Overall, it was a very predictable pay-per-view, and it really seemed like people really paid $50 basically to watch Impact on pay-per-view. And honestly, against all odds, Blue Major Crotch. The pay-per-view gets a 4 out of 10 from Perry the Entertainer, and that concludes the Against All Odds recap. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but before I go, I want to remind you guys about tomorrow. There will be the first ever Raw Ringside episode only on youtube.com/the PTE Afterthought, right where my hand should be, at least right here. I don't know. It'll be somewhere on the screen. Go subscribe there. Actually, if you click on that, it will direct you to the subscription, basically the little subscription page for the channel, and that's where that's going to go. This show where I recap Raw and give updates to you guys at the same time. Go subscribe. Either you can click on the annotation or you can go down in the description and go subscribe there. Now, that'll do it for me, guys. I'm Perry the Entertainer signing off, and peace out. See you guys tomorrow for the Raw Ringside.